More on the Texas shooting. I was joined earlier by Amarnath Amarasingam. He's a researcher at Dalhousie University. His past work includes an interest in terrorism and the sociology of religion. Here's his take on what led up to the attack in Dallas.
I think, I think the people who organized the event were probably expecting some kind of a pushback from the radical Muslim community in some sense or another. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have had so much security. And they knew that someone like Geert Wilders was going to attend the event, and he's been on, a number of hit lists from Al-Qaeda to other organizations that generally don't like his stance and his kind of rampant comments that are blatantly Islamophobic and very much against the Muslim community. So there have been kind of a lot of pushback against both Pamela Geller and Geert Wilders for some time. So I think there was something to be expected, I guess. But it should also be said that some of the leaders of the Muslim community in Texas, were trying very hard, and they sent out a lot of messages within the community to say, the best response to someone like Pamela Geller, the best response to someone like Geert Wilders is to simply ignore them. So don't even bother organizing a protest or anything even non-violent. Just kind of ignore the whole thing, because it's not like they're enormously popular. It's not like they're widely followed by the mainstream American community. So it's best just to ignore them, and they'll eventually realize that they just need to go away. So I think you had the kind of majority of Muslims attempting to ignore them, and then the radical few who wanted to send a message.
Amarnath, what are the similarities you see in this attack and past attacks? And also talk to us about the prevalence of threats when events like these are staged. I mean, and obviously, as you were pointing out, they're trying to poke folks, get a response. Clearly, violence is not the right response. But talk to us about the potential for additional attacks, and also about how you would frame this one in terms of the past attacks.
I mean, within the kind of broader Salafi or jihadi community, there is a kind of, a lot of talk about Western intervention in Muslim lands, Western attacks on Muslim lands, and the general kind of hostility towards the Muslim community in the United States. And they point to instances like this, the cartoons, whatever hijab or niqab controversy pops up, the mosque at Ground Zero, or the proposed mosque at Ground Zero, and the response to that as evidence that the Muslim community is not really welcome in the United States, not really accepted in the United States, and so events like this just kind of foster that sentiment and foster that worldview that exists within a very small subset of the Muslim community around the world, the ones that tend to support more radical fringe movements and things like that. So I think, the vast majority of Muslims that I've spoken to didn't even know an event like this was happening, didn't even know what this event was, and so we probably wouldn't even know about the event if it wasn't for the shooting.